Cloud, yeah. It can do both.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
I taught him how to do that, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hari.
Okay, yeah. All right. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So Srimad Bhagavatam. What we will do is we will try to do the first, second, and third chapters today, all three of them. Yeah. So what we are discussing is Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. First canto has 19 chapters, and they can broadly be divided into three themes. First one is the question and answers. The first three chapters are about question and answers. And next three chapters are about Narada Vyasadeva Samvada. Yeah. And rest of the chapters are about Parikshit's birth, his ruling, and the entry of Kali and his departure. So that covers the whole first canto. And we've been discussing the first and second canto, and we will be going to the first and second chapter, and we will be going to the third chapter now. Okay. So before going to the third chapter, we will quickly recap the first and second chapters, and then we'll enter into the third chapter. Let me share the screen with you. So you can share the screen. All right. Okay. So in the first chapter, we have talked about the three verses. First verse is about who is Bhagavan, the absolute truth. Second verse is about what is the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Third verse is about the invitation of Srimad Bhagavatam to please come and relish this bhakti rasa with Bhagavan. That's the third verse. And after that, the significance of sadhu and the potency of sadhu, potency of Harinam, and the characteristics of a Kali Yuga Jiva are described in the first chapter. After that, the 6 questions of Naimisharanya sages were put forward by the sages to Suta Goswami. And that will take us to the second chapter, where these questions are being answered. In the second chapter, Suta Goswami, he does the invocation prayers to his Gurujana and thank the Naimisharanya sages for asking those wonderful questions, because they are Krishna Samprashna. And they also do the Loka Kalyanam. That's why those questions are very valuable. So Suta Goswami thanks the Naimisharanya sages and then starts answering the questions that were placed in front of him. So the first question was, what is the ultimate good for humanity? And the second question is, what is the essence of all scriptures? So the answer for these two questions is Bhakti Yoga. And that's why the answer is given in detail in the second chapter about the definition of Bhakti. What is Bhakti? Yeah? That which is Yayatma Suprasidati. That reciprocation of the soul with the super soul that is continuous and has ahaituki, with no reason, apratihata, which is uninterrupted. So that flow of jiva to Bhagavan, where the reciprocation is happening continuously without interruption and without any reason, that bhakti, that flow is bhakti. And what are the byproducts of that kind of flow of bhakti rasa from the jiva to Bhagavan? Jnanam and vairagyam, detachment and knowledge. They automatically happen when there is flow of bhakti from the jiva to the Bhagavan. And Varnashrama Dharma is supposed to help one in aiding that flow of bhakti rasa of the jiva to the Bhagavan. Yeah? And then the stages of bhakti are described. 9 stages in Bhagavatam and 12 stages by Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore in detail of what are the stages of flow of bhakti of us, from us to Lord Krishna, from Jiva to Bhagavan. Different stages, starting from Sadhu Sangha, where we get to hear a little bit about Krishna, taking us all the way to Prema. Different stages of bhakti are described. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur takes it further and says, beyond Prema is Darshanam and Harimadhuryanubhavam. Yeah? So those are all the stages of bhakti. And then we have discussed in detail about what stage we are at. That's Anartha Nivritti. Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and Anartha Nivritti. That's where we are in. So we have discussed about that in detail. And what happens during that stage of Anartha Nivritti? That stage of Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. 2 things happen. Shubhada and Kleshagni. Shubhada is bhakti gives the auspiciousness. Once we start the process of bhakti, especially when we are committed to daily practice of bhakti yoga, bhakti gives auspiciousness. It gives all those good qualities that may look like the qualities of goodness, but they are actually the spiritual qualities which are given by bhakti. And they also give the qualities of fearlessness and dependence on Lord Shri Krishna. That is why Shubhada is the first leaf that unfolds in the practice of bhakti. And the second one is Kleshagni. All the kind of kleshas that we go through, starting from avidya, ignorance. Yeah? Ignorance of our position as being dependent on Bhagavan. Ignorance of our occupation as reciprocation with Bhagavan. Starting from that ignorance till the fear of losing this body, the fear of death, which is called abhinivesha. Yeah. So avidya, ahankara, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. These are the 5 kleshas that constantly happens within us. All the kleshas that we go through are because of this. And we have discussed how bhakti can eradicate all these kleshas. More so because it gives us knowledge, real knowledge of who we are, the jivas, and what our occupation is to reciprocate with Bhagavan. Just with that knowledge itself, all the 5 kinds of kleshas are gradually diminished. So these are the first 2 leaves that unfold. Even in the very beginning of bhakti, they start to unfold. And they blossom more and more as we continue to do this process of bhakti yoga. So we have discussed about that. And we also discussed about different characteristics of Anishtita Bhakti. When our bhakti is up and down bhakti, Anishtita Bhakti is up and down bhakti. We have discussed about the qualities of that up and down bhakti. Yeah, these are the qualities. Utsahamayi, Ganatarala, Vyuda Vikalpa, Niyamakshana, Tarangarangini. Basically, if we have to give one word to this, the up and down push and pull bhakti. But it is just a phase to pass through, and we will get over this. We just have to make our way, holding on to the service that is given to us by our Gurujana. And we will make our way through this push and pull and up and down bhakti. And then we will come to the stage of Nishtha Bhakti, where the mind is steady, the mood is steady, the service is steady, the devotion is steady, the attachment is steady, and the attraction to the devotional service, to Guru and Krishna is steady. That is Nishtha Bhakti. Yeah. And all the anarthas, they just fall apart automatically as we make our way through this up and down bhakti, holding on to the instruction of Gurujana and the service. These anarthas will just fall apart, not to be concerned so much about them. Yeah. So in this way, we have covered all the stages of bhakti. And then comes the other questions of why did Lord Krishna appear on this earth? That was the third question. But Sri Suta Goswami answered the fourth question of what are Purushavataras? It is because Purushavataras are relevant to the creation. Only when after the Purushavataras appear and the material creation happens, only then Lord Krishna comes and advents in Bhauma Vrindavan. That's why the fourth question was answered first. What are Purushavataras? The first one is Karnodaka Sai Vishnu, who is lying down in that ocean of reasoning. They are not exactly water, but the ocean of reasoning. That's a philosophical term, where there is cause and effect. So Karnodaka Sai Vishnu, from whom all the universes come out. Yeah, and he is the Paramatma of the entire material creation. From him comes Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And he is the Paramatma of each material universe. And from Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu comes Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. And he is the Paramatma of each and every atom and the Jiva. Yeah. And all the incarnations, the portal of entry of all the incarnations to this material world is through Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And in some places it is stated Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu also. So those are Purushavataras. And then the next question was answered. Why did Lord Krishna appear on this earth? To reclaim those souls that are in mode of goodness. Lord Krishna has appeared on the earth so he can display his pastimes. And by showing his pastimes, performing his pastimes, all the jivas are attracted to him. And we have discussed that all those pastimes are, especially by Lord Shri Krishna, are in 5 rasas. So many jivas get attracted to this pastimes filled with rasa. And there will be a lot of inquisitiveness about the Madhurya rasa, especially when the Bhagavan is performing. And it looks like Nara rasa, the human rasa, to invoke that inquisitiveness. He comes and performs the pastimes. But all those souls who are purified enough and wants to go back to the abode of Bhagavan, to be the a part of those part-time pastimes, they will be reclaimed. So to bring our attention to the pastimes and to reclaim all those souls that are ready to enter the pastimes, Lord Krishna comes down and perform his leelas. And Vinashaya cha Dushkrita, killing the demons, they do happen. Bhagavan does not necessarily have to come just to kill the demons. Even the expansions of Bhagavan, Shaktivesha avatars of Bhagavan, and devotees of the Bhagavan also can do the Vinashaya cha Dushkrita. But the pastimes, only Bhagavan can do them. That's why Bhagavan descends here, to attract us, so we can enter into the pastimes and serve him. That's the reason why Lord Krishna appears on earth. Okay. After answering that third question and fourth question, 2 questions are left over. What are Leelavataras? And where did Dharma take its shelter after Lord Shri Krishna went back to his abode? Those are the last two questions. And those two questions are answered in the third chapter. So we will go over the third chapter today. That way, we will be finishing this first unit in the first canto, which is consisting of these 3 chapters. So we'll go on to the third chapter now. Okay, I will pause for a few seconds to see if you have any quick questions, and then we'll enter into the third chapter. If I don't hear anything, then I would assume that you are eagerly waiting to enter into the third chapter. All right, so the third chapter. Those 2 questions of what are Leela avatars? See, Purusha avatars are 3. Karnodaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Shirodaka Sai Vishnu. Guna avatars are 3. For Sattva Guna, it's Lord Hari. For Rajo Guna, Brahma. For Tamo Guna, Lord Shiva. Right? How many Leela avatars are there? Unlimited. Like the waves in the ocean, Hari is the source of unlimited Leela avatars. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, 22 Leela avatars, main Leela avatars are described. So we will go over them quickly, those 22 Leela avatars, and a quick mention about what those Leela avatars are. And after that, the second point is touched here about the Virat Rupa. This Virat Rupa, unlike the other avatars which are spiritual, Virat Rupa is a material one. It's an imaginary form. All the mountains are imagined to be the bones of this Virat Rupa. All the rivers are imagined to be the veins of this Virat Rupa. All the trees are imagined to be the hair of the Virat Rupa. The sun and moon are imagined to be the eyes of the Virat Rupa, like that. So those people who cannot relate to the spiritual matters, but are struck at the gross level and can only appreciate the physical manifestation of the nature, for them, this Virat Rupa is offered. So they can imagine the Virat Rupa and pay their obeisances and appreciation to Virat Rupa. And ultimately, they will qualify themselves to understand something about the spiritual matters in the future, and then they can start the process of bhakti and can relate to the Paramatma and Bhagavan. So this Virat Rupa is an imaginary form meant for the very beginners who cannot relate to anything spiritual, but only material. Yeah, so for example, these tribal people, they pray mountain, they pray the tree, the sky. They cannot think much beyond. Their appreciation ends there to the nature, right? So like that, for those who cannot think beyond the physical forms, this Virat Rupa is endorsed by Srimad Bhagavatam to meditate upon. And the last topic, very important topic, is where does Dharma take its shelter after Lord Krishna left? That will be discussed in this. Okay. So now our focus will be more about what are those incarnations, the Leela avatars.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Could you put the presentation to full screen mode, like presentation mode?
Sure, Prabhu. Let me see. Where are you? This is all I can get to, Prabhu. This I cannot really change this one.
This is a PDF, so you
this is a PDF version that I had to download.
Mataji, you can do the plus sign if you want to enlarge it on the top.
Plus, okay, zoom it. Yeah. This is good. Is this better?
Yeah, Mataji.
Yeah,
it's okay, Mataji. I mean, now we don't see the full slide, so sorry about that.
Okay, maybe this. Okay. Are you able to see the full slide?
If you have a PowerPoint installed, Mataji, you can open the file in PowerPoint, right?
Prabhu, वो सब high-tech बात है. Avatar, this is what we have, and I can enlarge more a little bit if
Sure,
you
sure,
want
it's
to.
okay. Let's continue, Mataji.
Something very simple for you is almost undoable for me, Prabhu. This is all I can do now.
My humble apologies, Mataji.
Okay. So about the Leela Avataras, something happened. Kya hua? A blur ho gaya na? Why did it become blurred?
Just click outside of the slide, Mataji.
Click outside.
Just press escape, Mataji.
Thank you. See, that was a simple thing. Click outside. Thank you, Prabhu. ठीक है, Leela Avataras. What I would really like to do is, we will go through the slides, beautiful hai, about the Leela Avataras, but we will also read a little bit from the 3rd chapter explaining about each Leela Avatara. Then we will be very satisfied. That will be the plan. I think we have enough time for that. So we'll quickly see what those avatars are and go to the slide, go to database and read about them. So we have discussed about the role of Purusha avatars. Yeah, and here the Purusha avatars are shown. Here that's Karnodakasai Vishnu, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, from whom Brahma is coming, and Kshirodakasai Vishnu is present in every living entity. So that's Karnodakasai Vishnu. Universes are coming out. Garbhodakasai Vishnu here, and Lord Brahma coming out. And these are all the Leela avatars. Again, 22 main Leela avatars are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sanat, Sanatana, Sanantana, Sanat Kumara. Those are the 4 Kumaras. And Varaharupa, then Naranarayana Rishi, Narada. Remember, these are all Leela avatars. They have come to perform a specific function, a Leela. Yeah, Dattatreya, Kapila, Lord Kapila, Yajna, Rishabhadeva, Prithu, Matsya, Kurma, Mohini, Dhanvantari, Narasimha, Vamana. Here he is not really Vamana, he is Trivikrama. He has become so big. When he is like a dwarf, small, we call him Vamana. He is called as Vamana. But when he becomes so big, then he's called Trivikrama, occupying 3 lokas. In any case, that is Vamana Avatara. Parashurama, Vyasadeva, just so purifying. Look at these pictures, just looking at them. Vyasadeva there, and Narada instructing. That's Buddha, Kalki. Yeah, these are the incarnations of the Lord. And while describing these incarnations, Vyasadeva describes about Lord Krishna. And he says, though I have described Lord Krishna as one of the incarnations, in the list of the incarnation, Ete cham sakala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indradi Vyakulam Lokam Mridayante Yuge Yuge. Though I have described Lord Krishna as one of the incarnations, he is not one of the incarnations. He is actually the source of all incarnations. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That is emphasized here. And Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. This particular shloka is described as Paribhasya Sutra by Jiva Goswami. And what does that mean? That particular sloka or sutra on which the entire Granda is built is Paribhasya Sutra. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to show how Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. From the 1st canto to 12th canto, everything is showing how Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam and how all the incarnations are coming from Krishna. That is Paribhasya Sutra. Yeah? And even Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am present everywhere and everything is present in me. Yeah. And he also says, Sutre manigana iva. I am present as a thread passing through beads, and I am present everywhere. So Lord Krishna is saying that directly in Bhagavad Gita, and same thing is said in Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So he's not an avatar. He's an avatari, the source of all incarnations. That's Lord Krishna. And that is the importance of this sloka. Ete cham sakalah pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. First canto, third chapter, 28th sloka, 1-3-28, Paribhasa Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, spotlight on that Krishna is an avatari. When all the other avatars come, they have to come through this portal of entry of Garbhodakasai Vishnu. But Lord Krishna directly descends since he's an avatari. So that is about the Leela Avataras and how Lord Krishna is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Though he's mentioned in the Leela Avataras, his position is different. And now coming to the Virat Rupa. We have just discussed, right, that it is an imaginary form and is more meant for those people who are struck with the appreciation of the physical forms only, at the physical level only, at the nature only, appreciation of nature only. So for them, they can imagine this nature as the body of God, and they can pray, worship, and offer their respects. And slowly down the road, they will be able to relate to something spiritual. Okay, so now all this have described Purusha Avataras, Leela Avataras, how Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, everything. But who can understand the Lord? All this becomes just pieces of information. But how can the understanding come? How can one understand Krishna? And for that, Suta Goswami beautifully says, Saveda datu padavim parasya duranta viryasya radhanga panihi yo mayaya santataya nuvritya bhajeta tatpada saroja gandham bhajeta tatpada saroja gandham. Whoever does the bhajana, worship of Tatpada Saroja Gandham, the dust of the lotus feet of who? Duranta Viryasya Radhanga Panihi. That person who is chivalrously holding Radhanga, the anga of Radha, the wheel of Radha in his hands. That's Lord Shri Krishna. Yeah. Whoever does the bhajana to the lotus, dust of the lotus feet of this personality who is holding the wheel of the chariot in his hands. Saveda dhatu padavim parasya. Saveda, that person understands. Padavim parasya, the transcendental position of this supreme person. When they do the bhajan of the dust of the lotus feet, of his lotus feet, and how do they do the bhajan? Amayaya, santatya anivritya, unreservingly. Amayaya, santata, uninterruptedly, and anuvritya, very favorably. Those devotees that quickly come to our mind is the gopis. Unreservingly. You have headache, Krishna, and you need the dust from your The devotees, okay, we don't know if you're devotees or not, but take all the dust that you can. And they give that dust to Narada. They have no reservation of if they're going to hell or if their prestige and fame is going to be stained because of their activities. They have no reservations. If a soul has unreserving flow of bhakti towards Bhagavan, yeah, then not only unreserving, uninterrupted, with no stop in between, and favorable, pleasing to Krishna. So when someone does that kind of bhajan, yo mayaya santatya anuvritya, then they will be able to understand Bhagavan. Same thing Sri Rupa Goswami says. It is very difficult to understand Lord Krishna and the holy name, okay, unless seva, unless one offers service, then the Almighty God cannot be understood, and Harinam is unapproachable. Blanking on that sloka from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Seva. Sevon mukhi jihvadav. Swayam eva spuratyada. Whatever we might hear from Shastra, whatever we might try to do, the understanding and realization will happen only seva unmukha. When a soul has willingness to serve, that servitude is the opening door of the understanding of Bhagavan. Sevon mukhehi jihvadav. Swayam eva spuratyada. So when that servitude is generated or is expressed by the soul, then within their heart, the realization of Bhagavan and Bhakti happens. That's the importance. Yeah, that is the only ticket for us to enter into the spiritual world. Seva unmukha, willingness to serve. It is the same thing. Bhajeta tat pajat sadoja gandham means worshipping the lotus feet, means seva unmukha. And how should that seva unmukha be? Yeah, unreservingly, uninterruptedly, and favorably. Of course, we start with a little bit baby steps now, but as we move on, then our understanding will be more. The Samvit Shakti descends more, as we have discussed last night. Samvit Shakti is about to do with this realization and understanding of Lord Krishna, his energies, and the realizations. All these, they happen more. Samvit Shakti descends more as much as there is Seva Unmukha. And what is Seva Unmukha? That is Sandhini Shakti, Balaram. The desire to serve and the arrangements to serve and the strength to serve, everything is Sandhini Shakti, Balaram, right? So from our side, what we can do is serve, serve, and serve. Servitude is in our hands. Then the Sandhini Shakti, Samvit Shakti, and Ahladini Shakti, all of them, they descend gradually. And that service can be done better and can be done more steadily when we have the strength derived from Shri Guru's instructions. Otherwise, this Yomayaya Santataya Nuvritya is almost impossible. Because this bhakti, devotional service, is not a 1 hour job, 1 day job. It's a lifetime job. There are many waves of different crest and trough that would hit us. And that's why Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diyo, yeah, Sakala Sahana Baladiya Koro, give me the strength to tolerate everything that is coming upon me and everything that is being generated within me. All these waves, please give me the strength. Please help me to make my way out through this devotional service under your guidance with your instructions. Right? So that is our anchor to make our way out. And then Yomayaya Santatya Nivritya will happen on his strength and on his qualification. And then the understanding of the Bhagavan happens. Yeah. So they are all linked up like that. So that person can understand Bhagavan. Whoever does the worship of Tatpada Sarojagam. And now coming to the last topic of where is Dharma taking his shelter after Lord Krishna decided to go back to his realm? The answer is Krishne Swadhamopagate Dharmajnanadivisaha Kalau Nashtatrisham Esha Puranarkodunoditaha. After Lord Krishna, along with Dharma, Jnana, all this, after Lord Krishna leaves this world along with Dharma and Jnana, then Puranarkodunodita, the Srimad Bhagavata Purana, is giving the light as the sun rising in the horizon. If Lord Krishna has to come down in the form of fish, that's Matsyavatara. If Lord Krishna has to come down in the form of boar, that's Varahavatara. If Lord Krishna has to come down in the form of human being, that's Ramavatara or Krishna Avatara. If Lord Krishna has to come down in the form of literary, in the form of book and words, that's Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna. So whatever the incarnation does, the activities of incarnation, yeah, what the main activities is Vinashaya Dushkritam, and before that is to reclaim the souls. So these activities that are accomplished by an incarnation to attract the souls that are in mode of goodness and to do the Vinashaya Dushkritam, to slay the enemies. These are the two main functions of the incarnations. Srimad Bhagavatam does those two. By broadcasting all the glories of Lord Krishna, it is attracting all the souls that are ready to come back home to Godhead. And by giving all the jnana of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is killing the demoniac nature that is present within all of us. So in that way, Srimad Bhagavatam is an incarnation of Krishna, performing the two jobs of the incarnation. And Harinam is also considered in this Kali Yuga. Harinam, that is brought by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is also considered as incarnation of Krishna, because it does these two, it does accomplish these two purposes too. One is to reclaim, the souls, and to kill our sinful propensities. Harinam also does that job. So in this case, this is how Srimad Bhagavatam is the incarnation of Krishna. As Matsya is an incarnation, as Lord Ram is an incarnation, or Lord Krishna, who in person has descended and performed all his pastimes. On the same line, Srimad Bhagavatam is also an incarnation, a literary incarnation, and a deity, with first and second chapter being the lotus feet, giving the information of the creation, till the 12th chapter, which is considered as the crown of the deity of Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam is an incarnation. While we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, while we are glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam and trying to understand all these instruction given by the great souls in Bhagavatam, we are actually worshipping Bhagavatam. When we are submissively receiving this information, processing the information, and trying to apply it, it is worshipping Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is what Parikshit Maharaj was saying to Sukadev Goswami, right? Yeah. Shrinvatam Swakatah Krishna. Granatascha Swachayishtita. Kalena Nati Dirgena. Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. Why is Bhagavan Vishate Hridi? Why is the Supreme Lord so quickly revoked, established in the heart? Because we are worshipping the deity of Bhagavatam. That's why. And how are we worshipping the deity of Bhagavatam? Shrinvatam. We are hearing. Yeah. Granatasta Swacheshtitam. We are contemplating it. And we are clarifying and understanding the subject matter and the instructions. And Swacheshtitam. And applying it in our life. All this is considered the worship of the deity of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's why Kalena Nati Dirgena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. That's why Supreme Lord is very quickly established in our hearts. That's the way of worship of Srimad Bhagavatam, who is the incarnation of Krishna. So that concludes our first, second, and third chapters in the first canto. This is a quick overview of what are those 6 questions and where those answers are, as we have discussed. The first 4 questions and answers are in first and second 2 chapters. The last 2 questions of Leela Avtara and where is Dharma taking its shelter is in 3rd chapter. In this way, the first, second, and third chapters are giving us information about Bhakti, Bhagavan, and Bhagavat. Giving information more than this, but these are the main topics that are discussed, at least briefly, in these first 3 chapters. Throughout the Bhagavatam, more will be added. More information will be given about Bhakti, Bhagavan, Bhagavatam, Sri Guru, and more of it. So I am going to pause here. And I'm thinking, if we read Veda base now, it will be very nice. Now that we have quickly gone through the third chapter, once we read that for each incarnation, you will feel very satisfied. It may take like 5 or 10 minutes, and then we can open up for questions and discussions and reflections. Yeah, it will have a very complete feeling. Yeah, so I will try to go to Veda base and open
Would like
Veda
to
base.
Mataji?
Yeah, do you think you can do that, Mataji?
Yes, I can.
Yes, please do if you can. Thank you. Yeah, we see your message. Your electricity is back. We are happy, Prabhu. Happy, thank you. Awesome, 3rd chapter. Yeah, we can just go to only translation part, Mataji.
Yeah, 1 second, Mataji.
Yeah.
This is first chapter. Let me go to the 3rd chapter.
3rd chapter and advanced view. And meanwhile, yes, I want to acknowledge the devotees here. Praveen Prabhu, Josna Mataji, and Ashwini Mataji. Yeah. All of you, Hare Krishna. Welcome. Yeah. Can we see how many are there? I think we are good. Actually, just the English translation is fine, Mataji.
Okay.
Yeah, that will save our time and give an overall view. Yeah, and looking to see how many are there. Can we see how many of them are there? 4. Total, how many?
Oh, okay. 44, Mataji.
Okay, what we can do is, if we could just go up, please, so we can start with the Leela Avataras. 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th. Yeah, 6. Actually, from text 5, please. We can take turns and read.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Start. Text 5. This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, is the source and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of his form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created. Hare Krishna.
Text 6. First of all, in the beginning of the creation, there were the 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who were being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that's about the 4 Kumaras. Yes, please. Next one.
The supreme. Go ahead, Mataji.
The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe.
That is Vamana. What is that? Varaha Avatara.
Varaha.
Next one, please.
In the millennium of the races, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected the exposition of the Vedas, which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Narada, devotional service. Varaha picked up the earth. 4 Kumaras are Jnanamurtis, knowledge. Yeah, next one, please. 4th.
Text 9.
In the fourth,
Yeah. Go ahead, Mataji, please.
in the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara, and Narayana, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses.
Okay, thank you. Nara, Narayana, those are for austerities. Okay. 5th one.
The 5th incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is the foremost amongst perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Asura Brahmana, for in course of time this knowledge had been lost.
Okay. Thank
Sorry, Mataji, there's no electricity.
you. In spite of that, you were all enthusiastic to participate. May you be blessed. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. So 5th incarnation, Lord Kapila. That's Sankhya Yoga. Yeah, next one, please. 6th incarnation.
The 6th incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahalad, and others, Yadu, Haihaya, etc.
Yeah. So R3 about the subject matter of transcendence. Yes, please. 7th one.
Sorry, Mataji, which incarnation is this one?
6th incarnation of the Buddha. Son of Atri is Dattatreya.
Okay.
Right?
The 7th incarnation was Yagna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of the Swayambhu Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama.
Yeah. So Yagna. And he controlled the period during the change of. Generally, for each Manvantara, there would be incarnation and an Indra for that Manvantara. And in this period of Yajna happened to be the incarnation, and he also occupied the post of assisted by demigods like Yama, the post of Indra also during that Manvantara. That's Yajna. Okay. So whenever there is a soul, whenever the post of Indra or Brahma empty, even Ganapati, the post of Ganapati is also empty, then an expansion or incarnation of Vishnu will take over. And here Yajna has done that. Okay, next one, please. 8th incarnation. Rishabha.
The 8th incarnation was King Rishabha, son of King Navi and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life.
Right. Thank you. So that's King Rishabha, and his teachings are found, in Bharata. Bharata, I think it comes in the maybe 5th canto, the teachings of Rishabhadev about the path of perfection, how to renounce this world and how to connect with Bhagavan. So showing the path of perfection by King Rishabhadev, how to control the senses. Okay, next one, please.
O Brahmanas, in the 9th incarnation, the Lord prayed by sages, accepted the body of a king Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produce, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive.
Right. Yeah, Hari Hari. So Prithu is a Shakti Veshya Avatara, and he showed the Palana Shakti, how to rule. That's by King Prithu. Yeah, next one, please. Tortoise. Oh, not the tortoise. Next one. 15th, text 15.
When there was
a complete. Go ahead, Mataji.
no, please, Prabhuji, you read it.
When there was a complete inundation after the period of the Chakshusha Manu, and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivastava Manu, keeping him upon a boat. Hare Krishna.
Right. So that's Matsya Avatara. Matsya Avatara, he gave shelter to Vaivashvata Manu. And we are in the millennium of Vaivashvata Manu. Yeah. Yes, please. Go ahead. Next one.
The 11th incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise, whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandarchala hill, which was being used as a churning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe.
Right. So that's Kurma Avatara, in order to assist in the Ksheerasagara Madana Leela. That's the Leela Avatara, Kurma Avatara. Yes, please. Next one.
In the 12th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and in the 13th, he allured the atheists by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink.
Yeah. So that is all in Ksheerasagara Madana Leela. Dhanvantari and Mohini Murti appeared. Dhanvantari to give the nectar, Mohini Murti to allure the demons and see that they don't get the nectar. Next one, please.
In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narsimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane.
Yeah, that's Lord Narasimha to give protection to his devotees and to kill the demons. Yeah, next one, please.
In the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, Vamana. and visited the arena of sacrifice arranged by Maharaj Bali. Although at heart he was willing to regain the kingdom of the 3 planetary systems, he simply asked for a donation of 3 steps of land.
Yeah. So Vamana Avatara is to reclaim Bali Maharaj, who did Atma Nivedana. That's the Leela Avatara. Next one, please.
In the 16th incarnation of the Godhead, the Lord as Brahupati annihilated the administrative class Kshatriyas 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas, the intelligent class.
Yeah, that's Parashurama Avatara. And by this time, all these Parashurama, he killed all the Kshatriyas because they were not following the code and conduct. So that is the Leela Avatara, Parashurama. Next one, please.
Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parasara Muni, and he divided in one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent.
Right. So that's Vyasadeva, literary incarnation, source of the literary incarnation of Lord. He gave Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes. Next one, please.
In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. He exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama.
Hare Rama. So that's Rama Avatara, to show his pastimes on the earth as a human being and to show how a Maryada, Purushottama, should behave. So that is the Leela Avatara. Next one, please.
In the 19th and 20th incarnations, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, the Yadu dynasty, and by so doing, he removed the burden of the world.
Yes, yeah. Remove the burden of the world. Mudayanti yuge yuge. To remove the burden of the world, to cut down that unwanted population, to decrease the burden on the Bhumi Devi, these incarnations. And that's why the Kurukshetra war. Yes, please. Next one.
Then, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theist.
Yes, that has already happened, right? Yes, Lord Buddha. To stop the unscrupulous animal sacrifices in the name of Vedas. That's why Lord Buddha says, put these Vedas aside. Because in the name of Vedas, they were just doing animal sacrifices only to gratify their tongue. That's the Leela Avatara, Buddha. And the last one, please.
Thereafter, at the conjunction of the 2 yugas, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as Kalaki incarnation and become the son of Vishnu Yasha. At this time, almost all the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, right. So that will be the Kalki Avatar. That is to come at the end of this Kali Yuga. And after that, again, the Satya Yuga will start. So these are the Leela Avataras. A brief information about the Leela Avataras. But they are described in detail in different cantos and chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam as we go further. So that's about the 3rd chapter. So now that we have completed the first, second, and third chapters with the answers to 6 questions by Naimisharanya sages about bhakti, about the incarnation, about the reason for the advent of Lord Krishna onto the earth, and the Purushavataras and Leelavataras, and Srimad Bhagavatam being the literary incarnation and giving shelter to Dharma, and how Srimad Bhagavatam can be worshipped. So all of us can be reclaimed and can go back to Godhead. And all the sinful propensity within us can be destroyed by worshipping the incarnation, Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are all explained in the first, second, and third chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, please, your reflections, take-home points, questions. And we may stop the recording now, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Couple of questions about the Leela Avataras, Mataji. It says like Narada is a Leela Avatara, 4 Kumaras are the Leela Avatara. So I would like to understand if there is further within Leela Avatara, there is category, in different categories in which we classify the avatars. And why I'm asking is that because so Narsimha Dev is also an avatara, Sri Ram is also an avatara, but Narada and Narsimha Dev are not at the same position. So that's making me think that are there different categories within Leela Avatara?
Yeah. Right. Leela Avatara is categorized based only on the Leelas, whether it be the Vishnu Tattva, who is directly like Narsimha Dev or Matsya Avatara, or whether it be a Jiva Tattva, who is also performing the Leela, the purpose to uplift your humanity, to get them closer to Bhakti. So the classification is just based only on Leelas, regardless of Jiva Tattva or Vishnu Tattva.
So Narada Muni is Jiva Tattva here,
Yes.
but he is empowered to do the task. That's why we are calling it.
Yes,
Leela.
yes, yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, same as Prithu Maharaj too. He's a Jiva Tattva, but he's empowered to show what Palana Shakti means.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how he's performing his Leela of Palana Shakti,
Mm-hmm.
to show how a king should do Palana, ruling. And that's why he's a Leela Avatara, though he's a Jiva Shakti. They are empowered by Vishnu Shakti, that's Vishnu Tattva.
Out of all these avatars which we talked about, Mataji, which are Vishnu Tattva and which are Jiva Tattva?
Yeah, clearly Lord Narsimha Dev, right? Lord Narsimha Dev. And if we go over the list, then we can sort out like Matsya Avatara. All these, even Parashurama, I have read that he is an empowered incarnation, not the Vishnu Tattva. Even Parashurama too, actually. Yeah. So if we go over the list, then we can sort out. But generally, with whatever understanding that we have had so far, it is clear to us where who will be those Vishnu Tattvas. Like Matsya is a Vishnu Tattva, where Lord Vishnu is directly taking the avatara. Kurma is a Vishnu Tattva. Narasimha is a Vishnu Tattva. Krishna, Balarama, Rama are Vishnu Tattvas. So in this 10 Dasavataras, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Rama, not the Parashurama, Krishna, Balarama, Buddha, Kalki are Vishnu Tattvas.
Okay.
Yeah? And rest of them can be either Jiva Tattvas or Vishnu Tattvas. And as Bhagavatam said, there are so many incarnations, only 22 are given here. Yeah.
But these, out of these 22, the 10 Dashavatara, the Vishnu Tattva, and the Jiva Tattva, right? Nar and Rishi, they are Jiva Tattva.
Nara, Narayana. Nara is considered as Arjuna, Narayana is Krishna. You see, Nara, Narayana is a combination, both Jiva and Bhagavad Tattva there, Vishnu Tattva.
This Srimad Bhagavatam talks give explanation about
Yes.
Naranara.
Yes, yes. It's just giving us a little information now, but more information is given down the road in further chapters.
And 4 Kumaras are Jiva Tattva.
Yes, they are true. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Narada, Sanat, all the 4 Kumaras are also Jiva Tattva for Jnana.
Okay. Thank you.
Narada is for devotion, and the 4 Kumaras is for Jnana.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Just thinking, like Brahma, is he any
Jiva
kind of?
Tattva, Prabhu. He is also Jiva Tattva.
He is Jiva Tattva.
Yeah, empowered Jiva. The post of Brahma is given to a soul who has done, let me recall, Brahma, Varnashrama Dharma for about 100 years. If they do, if they're perfect in Varnashrama Dharma for about 100 years time, then they would be qualified for Brahma post. And if somebody has done a particular number of Ashwamedha Yajnas, maybe 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, then they will be qualified for Indra post, like that. So those are the posts, Prabhu. They are occupied by Jivas, qualified Jivas.
But they're not considered avtaras.
Gunavatara, Brahma is one of the Gunavatara, because he has to create the material creation. Creation is out of passion, the secondary creation. So Rajo Guna. So he is a Guna Avatara for Rajas. Not exactly Leela Avatara, is not performing a pastime, but he is a controller of the mode of passion, if we may call it, Rajo Guna. So Guna Avatara. Yeah?
Thank you.
Right. So he's empowered in that way as a Guna Avatara.
Mataji, Ganapati is which it considers.
It's a post also, Prabhu, actually, as Brahma, as Vyasa,
okay,
and as Indra. Gana is the Pati is he is the leader of the Gana. Gana is the soldiers, the army, the commander-in-chief, like that.
Right.
So that is also a
Senadapati
post. Yes, exactly. Right, like that. Senapati. So, and I have read that in our in current yuga that we are in our Manvantara now, the Ganapati post is occupied by Lord Vishnu. That's why he has 4 arms. So whenever a post is empty and there's no qualified soul, like for Indra or Vyasa or Ganapati or Brahma, then Lord Vishnu takes that post. So that's what I have read for this Manvantara. Otherwise, it is occupied by the Jiva. Yes, bro.
So when you say Jiva, like any pure devotees like that can take that position, Mataji? Or
yeah,
how?
Not necessarily pure devotees. Like Indra is not a pure devotee, but is an empowered devotee. Not pure in intention to do Atma Nivedana for Krishna. He was just using Vamana.
Okay.
So empowered for material matters, for material administration.
Okay.
So they are Sakama Bhaktas. They have desires. They have desires to rule. They have desires to create. Sakama, they have desire, but Sa is good because they are depending on Krishna. So Sakama Bhaktas, not exactly pure devotees, but empowered devotees.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Mataji, recently somewhere I was reading about Lord Ganesha and the similarity, the way we read in Srimad Bhagavatam, like Yuga Avatara with the colors, right? It has, and they were talking about Lord Ganesha. And then we see the Kalaki Avatara, and they were talking about something similar to that. So maybe because, you said in this yuga, we
Vishnu.
have Lord Vishnu
Yes.
as Ganesha. So that's why then everything is applicable same way.
Right.
Could it be possible
That's what my understanding was. After I read that,
yeah.
then whatever they are saying about Ganapati of this Manvantara could be applicable if it is Lord Vishnu sitting in that post. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? So, so far we have done these 3 chapters, and in about a month, we will start Narada Vyasa Samvada and see how Bhagavatam has appeared to rescue us, right? How Srimad Bhagavatam was given by Vyasadeva. That will be the next one. So we'll pause here if you have no more questions or questions.
Hare Krishna Mataji, since we will have class from you after a long time, now we will have it, in a month or so, right?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji. That will be next month. Yes, we will continue Srimad Bhagavatam next month.
So,
Adidev Prabhu will be doing the Demons of Vrindavan Leela in the interim.
Next week, Mataji is program from Fiji, right?
Yes, Prabhu. And what is the name of Prabhuji?
Vishwanath Prabhu.
Yeah.
Vishwanath.
So Vishwanath Prabhu will do that next week, and the other 3 weeks, Adidev Prabhu will do Demons of Vrindavan Leela, and we will continue Srimad Bhagavatam from July, 3rd week of July also.
why I was saying is that please take the prayers from our all Bhakti Vriksha group to the Lordship along with you, Mataji, from all of us.
From all of us, yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
to the Puri Mataji.
Will do.
Yes, Mataji.
Will do.
Yeah, and bring lot of his prasad
Blessings.
for all of us. And
I am actually looking forward to a lot of videos, Mataji. Like last time you came and it felt like we were there with you when you shared all that, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhu.
My
I'll
humble
try to do
request.
that.
My humble request, Mataji, to your lotus feet.
I'll try to do that, Prabhu. I'll try to do that. I'll take that as instruction, Prabhu.
No, this is begging.
Yeah. So the videos and prayers, I will, when Lord Jagannath gives me that opportunity to have darshan, yes, I will think of you all, pass on the prayers from your side too. I look forward to.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Mataji.
ठीक है. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय.
पाद की जय.
जय.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.
जय.